Another intense stretch of days around Ibrox, and the feeling among the Rangers support is completely different from what it was not long ago. The momentum is real, the confidence is growing, and the squad is finally starting to reflect the ideas coming from the dugout. 5 victories in a row do not happen by accident, especially when you consider the context in which this run started. When Danny Roll arrived, the situation was fragile, performances were inconsistent, and belief was in short supply. What we are seeing now is the clear impact of strong leadership, detailed coaching, and players beginning to trust the process on and off the pitch. That latest win away from home summed it all up perfectly. Trips to that ground have caused problems for far stronger Rangers sides in the past, particularly with the conditions and the hostile environment. Yet this team went there, stayed composed, and got the job done. Beating Aberdeen twice in succession is never a small achievement, and taking maximum points from those encounters sends a clear message. It shows maturity, resilience, and a growing understanding of what is required to win consistently in Scottish football. The defensive shape looked solid, the transitions were sharper, and there was a sense of control that had been missing earlier in the season. Individually, several players are starting to show their true value. Fernandez continues to look more assured with every appearance, reading the game well and bringing calmness to the back line. Others who arrived during the summer are now finding rhythm and confidence, which says a lot about the work being done on the training ground. Even players who did not get on the score sheet are contributing in meaningful ways. You can see the hunger in their movement, the willingness to press, and the desire to make the right decision for the team rather than forcing individual moments. The progress of players like Ibroti is another clear indicator of improvement. While the goals might not be flowing just yet, his overall game has taken a step forward. His link-up play looks cleaner, his positioning more intelligent, and his confidence visibly higher. These are the kind of developments that often go unnoticed on the stat sheet but make a huge difference over the course of a season. It all points back to coaching, trust, and players being given clarity in their roles. Looking ahead, there is a genuine opportunity to keep this run alive. The Scottish Cup fixture coming up offers a chance to build further momentum, and the European picture, while challenging, is not completely closed. 2 strong performances could change the narrative quickly, especially if results elsewhere fall into place. The key focus right now is maintaining standards, avoiding complacency, and continuing to integrate new faces into the group without disrupting the balance that is starting to form. Speaking of new faces, the January window remains very active and Rangers are clearly not standing still. One recent arrival has already made a positive impression in terms of attitude and personality. He speaks with confidence, shows hunger to succeed, and comes with the experience of winning titles, which is never something to dismiss lightly. Even without knowing every detail of his game yet, there is a sense that he fits the profile of player the manager wants. Right now, trust in the recruitment aligned with the manager's vision is growing, and that in itself is a big shift from earlier uncertainty. That trust is also reflected in the latest transfer development doing the rounds. Rangers have made a formal move for a winger currently playing in Germany, and this is not idle speculation or unfounded noise. The information is coming from a source with an exceptional track record when it comes to German football. Talks have been opened, and the player in question was notably left out of his club's most recent squad, despite not being injured. That alone tells you plenty about where things might be heading. At 26 years of age, he is at a point in his career where regular football and a fresh challenge matter. His contract runs for several more years, and his move to Germany last summer involved a significant fee, which underlines the level of talent he possesses. While a permanent transfer would be complex, the current structure being discussed appears to be a loan deal, potentially with options built in for the future. Rangers have been down this road before with success, and there is optimism that history could repeat itself. What makes this potential signing particularly intriguing is his profile. A Danish winger with strong numbers from his time in Belgium. His output in terms of games and goals suggests consistency and end product. The Belgian league shares certain physical and tactical similarities with the Scottish Premiership, so those performances should not be underestimated. Rangers have also had positive experiences tapping into the Danish market, and that familiarity could help him settle quickly if the deal progresses. He has been with his current club for around a year, featured regularly, but now seems ready for a new chapter. From Rangers' perspective, bringing in a player of this caliber on a short-term basis could add quality, depth, and competition in wide areas. At a crucial stage of the season, it would also signal clear intent, showing that the club is backing the manager and responding to the recent upturn in form with ambition rather than caution. Alongside the transfer talk, there is also a strong sense of pride around the development of younger players within the squad. One loanee in particular has caught the eye during the first half of the campaign. His contribution cannot be measured purely by goals or appearances. The real value lies in how he is growing as a footballer and as a person, learning what it means to play for a club where expectation is relentless and every match carries weight. At just 18 years old, he arrived with big dreams and the confidence to say he wants to reach the very top of the game. That kind of ambition should never be mocked. Instead, it should be nurtured, especially when backed up by a willingness to learn and improve. Playing regularly in Scotland has forced him to adapt physically and mentally, dealing with aggressive opponents, demanding atmospheres, and the constant pressure to perform. Earlier in the season, there were moments that tested him severely as the team struggled and confidence dipped. For a young player, those situations can either break you or accelerate your development. Since the managerial change, his form has lifted noticeably. He looks freer, more decisive, and more expressive in his play. The confidence being shown in him by the coaching staff is clearly paying off, and his maturity when speaking about his journey reflects someone who understands the process rather than rushing the destination. He often speaks about the importance of pressure, about how every game feels like a test, and how that environment is shaping him for the future. That mentality aligns perfectly with what Rangers demand. The experience of delivering in the biggest fixture of all, scoring in an Old Firm derby, and playing a decisive role in a famous win is something that will stay with him forever. Moments like that can define careers, and for Rangers supporters, there is a sense of pride in knowing their club played a part in that development. The resurgence in form since October has lifted the entire squad, not just one or two individuals. The atmosphere around the training ground feels different. The body language on the pitch tells its own story, and the connection between players and staff looks genuine. Confidence breeds confidence, and as long as this momentum is protected, there is every reason to believe that the second half of the season can deliver even more compelling stories as the journey continues. As that momentum continues to build, The most striking change is the collective belief running through the squad. You can see it in the way Rangers start matches now, on the front foot, confident in their shape and brave in possession. Earlier in the campaign, there was a hesitation, a sense of playing not to lose. That has been replaced by intent. The passes are sharper, the movement is more purposeful, and there is far more clarity in how each phase of play is meant to unfold. That clarity is often the first real sign that a manager's ideas are landing. Danny Roll's influence goes beyond tactics. He has clearly worked on restoring confidence in players who were struggling mentally as much as technically. Footballers at this level do not suddenly become bad players overnight, but doubt can creep in quickly when results turn. What Rangers are benefiting from now is a coach who understands how to strip things back, simplify roles, and rebuild trust. Training sessions appear intense but focused, and players are responding with performances that look more honest and disciplined. This renewed structure has also allowed Rangers to manage games better. There is a patience now that was missing before, an understanding that not every moment needs to be rushed. Against physical opponents who look to disrupt rhythm, Rangers are finding ways to absorb pressure and then strike with purpose. That balance between control and aggression is vital in Scottish football, particularly when fixtures come thick and fast and recovery becomes just as important as preparation. The upcoming schedule offers both opportunity and challenge. Cup football brings its own demands where mistakes are punished instantly and complacency can undo weeks of hard work. Rangers know that maintaining standards in these matches is non-negotiable. Strong rotation without weakening the side will be key, especially as new signings arrive and look to settle quickly. The aim is not just to win matches, but to create continuity in performances regardless of who starts. In Europe, the situation remains delicate but not hopeless. There is still a route forward, however narrow, and the mindset within the squad appears to be focused on controlling what can be controlled. Winning the remaining matches is the only realistic objective, and anything beyond that will take care of itself. That approach removes distraction and keeps attention firmly on performance levels rather than permutations and scenarios. January recruitment plays a huge role in sustaining this push. Rangers are not chasing numbers for the sake of it. The focus is clearly on adding quality that fits the system and the mentality being built. The potential arrival of the Danish winger would align perfectly with that thinking. He offers pace, directness, and experience at a high level while still having room to rediscover his best form. Sometimes a change of environment is exactly what a player needs to reset and thrive. Loan deals, when handled correctly, can be extremely effective for a club in Rangers' position. They reduce risk while allowing immediate impact, and if structured well, they can open the door to permanent solutions later. Rangers have seen that model work before, and supporters will be hoping this situation follows a similar path. The fact that an official offer has been made shows serious intent rather than casual interest. Beyond the immediate first-team picture, the development of younger players remains a central theme. Rangers have always prided themselves on being a platform for talent, whether homegrown or brought in from elsewhere. For young players on loan, the environment at Ibrox can be both demanding and transformative. Every appearance is scrutinized, every mistake magnified, but every success celebrated just as loudly. The teenage midfielder currently making headlines is living that reality week by week. His reflections on pressure and expectation reveal a player who understands where he is and what it takes to survive here. Scottish football, particularly at the top end, is unforgiving. Physical battles are constant, crowds are intense, and patience is limited. Adapting to that at such a young age speaks volumes about his character. What stands out most is his willingness to learn. He talks openly about improving mentally, about understanding when to keep things simple and when to express himself. That balance is crucial for any young footballer with big ambitions. Being surrounded by experienced professionals and guided by a coaching staff that values communication has accelerated his growth in ways that training alone never could. The role of the coaching staff in this resurgence cannot be overstated. One-to-one sessions, detailed video analysis, and honest conversations have become the norm. Players feel supported rather than judged, challenged rather than exposed. That atmosphere encourages accountability without fear, and it shows in the unity visible on match days. When mistakes happen, teammates respond together instead of pointing fingers. The Old Firm victory remains a defining moment in this recent run. Winning that fixture does more than add 3 points to the table. It shifts belief, silences doubt, and reminds everyone of what this club is capable of when things click. Following that up with another strong result against Aberdeen reinforced the sense that this was not a one-off performance fueled by emotion, but part of a broader upward trend. Climbing to second place in the standings reflects that progress, but it is not the end goal. Rangers know there is still a gap to close and standards to raise. The focus remains on consistency, on delivering the same intensity against every opponent, regardless of name or location. That mentality is what separates short bursts of form from genuine momentum. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Scottish Fitbar woke up, a low rumble that's grown louder by the hour as whispers swirl that Rangers have quietly lined up Lawrence Shankland as their next attacking statement. Nothing stamped, nothing sealed, but enough smoke drifting round Ibrox to make folk believe there's a fire crackling away behind the scenes. The name alone has defenders glancing over their shoulder and supporters letting their imagination run a wee bit wild. Shankland has long been spoken of as a striker cut from a different cloth, one who thrives on scraps in the box and turns half chances into full-blown panic for backlines. The talk is that Rangers see him as the missing edge, a forward who doesn't need a dozen touches to make his presence felt. Insiders murmur that conversations have been had, glances exchanged, and plans sketched out that could see the Gers reshaping their front line with a more ruthless streak. What makes the rumor bite harder is the sense that this isn't just about goals. Shankland brings attitude, a striker's snarl, and a knack for unsettling centre halves before the ball even arrives. There's speculation that the Rangers hierarchy fancy him as a symbol of intent, a signal that domestic defences will nay be allowed an easy shift. In training ground chat, he's painted as a player who raises standards simply by being there, demanding service and punishing mistakes. Of course, Fitby rumours have a habit of running ahead of reality, and Ibrox has seen plenty of names drift in and out of conversation. Still, the idea of Shankland in blue has a certain ring to it. Supporters debate how he'd fit, pundits weigh up the gamble, and rival fans nervously joke about a new terror stalking penalty boxes across the country. Until anything's made official, it remains pure speculation, the kind that keeps the back pages buzzing and the terraces talking. But if this whisper turns into substance, Scottish defences might soon find themselves braced for a striker who relishes the chaos and leaves little mercy in his wake. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned